Alrighty, folks, what is up? My name is Melvin, and welcome. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you well. It's always about how you deliver a message when it will sound appealing, And I think just the way he has said this message has just clicked for so many people, and I want you to hear it, and I want us to respond to it, okay?
There should not be one billionaire in America. None. And I'll tell you why. Because there is nobody that works hard enough to earn $1 billion. And my argument is this. The two jobs I did in my life that were physically the most demanding and mentally the most difficult that I ever did paid me the least amount of money. One was going through buds, and I challenge any billionaire to put up with 6 weeks of that shit at $62 every 2 weeks, And the second was right before I went in the Navy. I had a job with the Minnesota Highway Department, couple bucks above minimum wage. I worked for the bridge crew, and you know what my job was? I worked a 4-day work week, 10 hours a day so I could have Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the weekend. You're 18, of course you're going to do that. But I worked 40 hours in 4 days on the bridge crew, and guess what I did? Ran the 80-pound jackhammer. I challenge any billionaire to run the jackhammer for 40 hours 1 week and tell me he works harder than that. No, he doesn't. That's why I believe there should not be a billionaire in the world.
Now, again, you can make a million reasons. You can make a billion reasons as to why there shouldn't be any billionaires. But in terms of all the ones that I've heard, this one's just the most clear and concise. We grew up in a society where we believed that the ones who made the most money either had some sort of natural gift that they either grew up with or developed, or that they were just born with a certain intelligence or niche that allowed them to succeed in their field. But that's just not the case in this society that we came up with. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And those connections go much farther than you think. A lot of modern artists, for example, singers, they're famous, they're rich and famous because of the people that they know. And there's nothing wrong with them being singers. Should they be making the amounts of money that they do? There's a lot of arguments towards that, because at one point I can understand, hey, if you're influencing this much of the population, yeah, you deserve a cut of that. So at one point I can understand that and see it, but then at another point, when you look at what Jesse Ventura is saying, yeah, none of those singers could ever work in the job fields that he worked in you know so it's like, when you hear that perspective, it's like, yeah, they should be getting paid more for their hard labor, but we clearly don't care. Customer service, like that thing, that industry can drain your mental health in in a quick span of job. Depending on the job you take, your mental health can go south working customer service. But still, those jobs don't get anywhere near the amount of praise and commitment that people do. I've worked with a lot of well qualified people, and I think for most, if not all of them, they just didn't get the wages they deserved. We have to start realizing that this is our society, and we have more of a say in it than we think we do. Maybe we're not going to eradicate billionaires, maybe, but we can at least change the rules so that society for us can be a little bit better. And that's really all I'm asking for. I'm asking for a fair shot, a fair chance, not just for myself, but for as many people as possible. Me, myself, I grew up very, very lucky. Like in my family, I got to be raised in a country where I got to learn English. Then that in and of itself has given me such a huge advantage compared to other Dominicans. So I understand that I grew up with so many advantages that other people just won't have. But all I want to be is just comfortable in my own society. That's just what I want. And the more I read news headlines, the more I'm just existing in this society, the more I'm like, this doesn't really feel right for me. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to figure that out. And I think a lot of us feel the same. I think a lot of us feel like we're in that same position. And like I said, I don't really know what to do about it. But hopefully, messages like these can start inspiring, us to take stand, up to take action. So let's hope we start seeing some of that change.